Yeah, no Every person can beat their fears, but only the strongest can defeat them. But it definitely helps when you can bash them over the head with a rusted pipe. But hey, how's it going? Hot off the wheels with the success of Silent Hill 2, Team Silent went ahead and developed a sequel the very next year, simply named Silent Hill 3. Probably because it only takes you 3 hours to beat the entire thing. LMAO. But jokes aside, Silent Hill 3, despite its short development time, serves as one of the most iconic horror games of the PS2 era, and probably any other era, which is a solid achievement considering the absolute bangers this era of horror games produced.
What's all that movement back there? What's all that movement back there?
So, this game must be pretty good, huh? Taking control of yet another new, or semi-new, character to the series, Heather Mason, the daughter of the protagonist of the first game.
Have you seen a little girl? Have you seen a little girl around here? Have you seen a little girl anywhere? Short, black hair, 7 years old.
Players are once again plunged into the world and mythos of Silent Hill, specifically those of the first game, with all that kooky cult stuff going on. Just like the previous two games, players will navigate daunting environments while solving puzzles, surviving encounters with the inhabitants of this world.
Fuck you, asshole! Whatever, motherfucker, you don't scare me.
And generally just having a really bad time. I'll hopefully convince anyone that hasn't tried this game to give it a try, or if you have already played it, stick around and reminisce about the game with me, will ya? So, dust off that flashlight, scoop up that radio, and get ready to face your fears once again. Nope. That. In true survival horror fashion, the player controls yet another everyman, or in this case, every woman, who just has terrible stuff happening to them 24/7. This particular woman's name, Heather Mason. A young woman that has to go through the struggles and pain every protagonist in this game series goes through, and in some cases, even way more pain than the others. With every protagonist in the series having a distinct characteristic, such as Harry from the first game being stoic, and James from the second game being autistic, Heather got lucky and she gets to be the snarky protagonist of the series. But not to worry, when I say snarky female lead, I don't mean the modern snarky female lead type.
I just move shit with my freaking mind!
And your character balances her nonchalant attitude with occasional bouts of snapping at people.
You're in on this with that Claudia, aren't you?
Which, given the setting and the people that she meets, makes her more human than the absolutely emotionless Neanderthals that you play as in the other games.
Aren't you looking for someone?
That's right.
The basic gameplay loop present in the Silent Hill series and other survival horror titles is the one present in Silent Hill 3. Run from enemies, walk into area, see locked door, find key to locked area, mail pipe bomb to people you don't like, collect key to locked door, open locked door, and rinse and repeat. Silent Hill 3 doesn't deviate much from the trusted formula, and it really doesn't have to. This game, and others like it, are more focused on plopping the player down in sometimes mesmerizing, always hostile surroundings, and having the player immerse themselves in the game through the story and environmental storytelling.
Boy, is this alcohol? Acting like a kid is alcohol.
I've mentioned at the beginning of this video about the length of the game and how short the runtime is. However, that isn't to the game's discredit, as these games do tend to pad themselves out a bit, much like all my videos. Speaking of the game's story and overall vibe, it leans more into the Chris cult angle and less into the personalized horror angle, where the influence of Silent Hill preys on the main character's fears and weaknesses. It's true that the evil cult angle may not be as interesting as the latter due to its predictability, as most of them go something like, "Ooh, come join our evil cult." Nah. However, the game manages to implement plenty of psychological horror elements, which make for the game's most disturbing moments. Oh hell no! The story may not be the most interesting in the series, however, it's the characters and how they interact with each other, and the story told through the environment, that serve as the main narrative hooks of the game. Speaking about those environments, this is probably what everyone thinks of when they hear the word Silent Hill. The ever-rolling fog and vacant city streets, which aren't really present until later in the game. Despite the game being called Silent Hill 3, half of the game takes place outside of the fog of war of the town. So, realistically, this game should be called Silent Hill 2.5 or something. Heather starts out in this shopping mall, which can only be described as liminal, which is what the cool kids care about these days when it comes to horror, followed by this underground subway, and on and on and on until you reach the town of Silent Hill later in the story. I guess this is the biggest addition Silent Hill 3 introduced to this series, as seeing the town's influence spreading far beyond its borders is a frightening prospect. So, you better visit Silent Hill before Silent Hill visits you. Wait a minute. A cohesive public transport system in an American town? This can't be right. I guess it's also worth noting is that despite this game taking place in the United States, it seems that some places, such as this office and this street, are clearly referenced from places in Japan. Do with that information what you will. When talking about PS2 era games and recommending them to others, graphics aren't really what you'd expect to hear, but boy, let me tell you about this game's presentation. Shout out to whoever animated and modeled Heather's face. Every eyelash, every freckle, and emotion are fully displayed on Heather's model to the best of the PS2's ability, which makes me think about how this damn thing can even handle it sometimes.
I'm tired, boss.
What's funny to me is that a game made in 2004 understands more about realistic facial expressions and body language than games made 20 years later in 2024, which is just crazy to me, and just goes to show what made the all Silent Hill games instant classics. Not to make the game's enemies feel left out, their design is as grotesque as you'd expect them to be. You have the Reddit mods, and their massive frames, perfect for spending all their day on the internet arguing about the dumbest shit. And the NBA draft prospects, in all their lanky and, phallic glory. These enemies are brought to life through how they look, sound, shuffle, shake, and overall just spaz out like my phone when I leave it on vibrate. Now, it wouldn't be a Silent Hill video without some big brain armchair critics section analyzing the story and every pixel of the game, but I'll keep it short for you. Now, I'm a man, I'm a male, I'm a he. So, I'm really not qualified to judge the psychological horror aspect of this game, but Silent Hill 3 deals with the horror themes related to the female starting class, with Heather being faced with the fears that I guess most women have, such as body image, stalkers, and finding that the tickets for the Taylor Swift concert are all sold out. Which, yeah, sounds rough as hell. I don't want to give too much of the story and surprises away, as experiencing these things firsthand is all the fun in these games. When Silent Hill 3 is mentioned, you'll always have the group that praises the game and how different it is from any other title with how it tackles themes of psychological horror through its main character. And you'll have the other group, which dislikes the game for its weak story and focus on the cult aspects of Silent Hill, instead of the purely psychological story told in the previous game. The game may have its shortcomings in the length and story department, but this game way more than makes up for it with its characters and new environments. It's also worth noting that this is one of the last good Silent Hill titles. Before the series, and the wider genre of survival horror, we're going the way of the dinosaur during the PS3 and Xbox 360 era. Dark times come again no more. So, if you want to dip your toes into this era of survival horror games, Silent Hill 3 is the game for you. I hope that through this video, I have piqued your interest in Silent Hill 3 if you haven't played it before. And if you have, maybe comment down below about how you feel about it, and how it fits into the series. As always, have a good day, and thanks for watching. Also, there's this area in the game where you can break a wall and pick up a silencer that drops from a body that's lodged in the wall, and apparently that's supposed to be a Metal Gear reference, and that being Snake who's actually in the wall. Now if Snake can't survive Silent Hill, then who the hell can?